2025 comes to a close. CNBC's Alex Sherman spoke with 16 top executives across media, sports, and entertainment who made some pretty bold industry predictions for 2026. Joining us right now with some of those calls is Alex Sherman, CNBC's media and sports reporter. I always love when you do this. So what would you say is the most provocative, outrageous, over-the-top thing that could actually come true?
Yeah, so look, these people that I speak to, these are top of the food chain executives. So it's always interesting to me to hear what they say anonymously, what they would never say publicly. I would say the one that comes to mind is Apple buying our parent company for 2 more weeks, NBCUniversal. The Apple buys Disney thing has been out there for many years. I feel like that has been a prediction in the past. This is the 5th year that I'm doing this. Maybe, I don't know, 2 or 3 of those years, Apple buys Disney. That one has fallen off for whatever reason, and it has been replaced by NBCUniversal, I think because the current thinking is that it's clear Brian Roberts was in the market to do something with Warner Brothers Discovery. Right. That looks like it's not going to happen. Netflix and Paramount's bidding war for Warner Brothers Discovery has set a new multiple, potentially, for traditional media assets, and maybe now would be the time if Brian Roberts decided, you know, there's just not really a deal out there for me where I can control the asset. Maybe it's time for me to take advantage of the heightened multiple and actually sell.
Smaller bite at the apple.
Would Apple want it? Would Apple want it?
Well, look, I think this executive told me that Apple wants in to the TV industry. He's a well plugged-in executive. Apple hasn't really said we're looking for bulking up in terms of an acquisition. They've always been similar to Netflix, a builder, not a buyer. Right. It is that long thing where, you know, the largest traditional acquisition to date, I think, is still the Beats acquisition for Apple, which was $3 billion for a multi-trillion-dollar company. So these answers, however, are always no, no, no until they're yes, just like Netflix finally did a deal. Maybe it's Apple's turn. Maybe, look, strategically, if Apple wants to be in the TV business, it would behoove them to gain a lot of assets, particularly they've shown an interest in sports. Apple has had trouble advancing in this industry because their streaming service is sort of the low man on the totem pole. And whenever you have a prized media asset, you always want to go to who's going to give me the biggest reach, who's going to give me the most viewers. And Apple has the least amount of viewers right now. That's not the Apple way. So maybe they take the leap and they actually buy a bigger library of programming and a lot of sports rights.
By the way, Comcast was the biggest gainer in the S&P 500, I think, 2 days ago. It was up by 5.8% or something. What happened? What was that?
Well, I think there's probably several different things going on. One may be this multiple leap that I'm talking about of NBC, where suddenly the media assets within Comcast are now valued at a higher level. It's also possible that investors are like, thank God you're not in a giant bidding war with Paramount and Netflix over the Warner Brothers Discovery assets. The interesting thing there, though, is I do attribute that leap probably to the media side of the business, where Comcast has long traded actually on the broadband internet side of the business. Maybe we will see a flip a little bit in 2026 where the media assets are actually valued high enough that it actually affects the stock price positively.
Okay, you have another prediction that has to do with the show The View.
Yes. One executive predicted that Marjorie Taylor Greene will join The View. She's, of course, already said she's leaving Congress in January of 2026, and she will need a new job at that point. Right. Maybe she'll run for president, but maybe in the interim she'll join The View as a guest.
She'll get along with Whoopi? How would that?
I would imagine they won't get along, but you know, isn't that part of the joy of joining The View? So I don't have too much to say on that one in terms of reporting, but I did think it was an interesting prediction, and, you know, we'll see.
We got another prediction. There's going to be a whole bunch of lockouts taking place, both, I think, in Major League Baseball is one of the predictions.
And the WNBA.
And the WNBA.
Yeah, so I actually just spoke to the Players Association Executive Director, Terry Jackson, this week about the WNBA one, and she told me she's pretty frustrated right now. There's a January 9th deadline. Of course, things could be extended because the season doesn't start until May, but it doesn't sound to me like we are on the cusp of a deal yet for the WNBA. And of course, Major League Baseball's big issue is, will we finally have a salary cap in Major League Baseball? And will the owners take a stand and say, after this coming year, no mas. We are sitting out until we finally get one. So both of those sports, this person predicted, will have a work stoppage, which would be, you know, that is not the direction that any player or owner wants this thing to go. So I would put that in the bold category.
And then finally, what is Alex Sherman's prediction on who ends up owning Warner Brothers Discovery?
Oh, wow. I mean, I have no idea on that one, but I will give a prediction, which is that I don't understand why the Ellison family at this point wouldn't put out another sweetened bid after publicly saying and repeating that their $30 per share offer was not a best and final offer. To just never raise the bid at that point seems to me to be a bizarre ball fake. So I guess I could say, logically speaking, I would at least predict that there's going to be one more bid from the Paramount side, and it'll probably be an aggressive bid to be like, well, if $30 wasn't the best and final, here's our best and final shareholders, and then you guys decide at that point. So that is a prediction that I don't know if it's true or not. I'll leave it at that. I have no idea if Netflix would match that bid. Who knows? We will see, and we will see whether these other predictions come true. I'm going to start DVRing The View so I can wait for Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Alex, stay with us for just a moment because we've got some news about a new media merger, and it's a pretty unusual one. The Trump Media and Technology Group is announcing plans to merge with TAE Technologies. That is a fusion power company. This is an all-stock merger of equals that's valued at more than $6 billion. And upon closing, Trump Media will be a holding company for its current portfolio of media brands, including Truth Social. Also, the power brands that are owned by TAE. If you read this release, which I'm just doing right now, it says that this transaction is designed to create one of the world's first publicly traded fusion companies. Basically, going through with this, Nunes is saying that this is a situation where Trump Media and Technology Group built what he calls an uncancelable infrastructure to secure free expression for online for Americans. And now we're taking a big step towards a revolutionary technology that will cement America's global energy dominance for generations. I mean, a completely unusual combination between a media company and a fusion company, a power fusion company.
Sounds like the old GE days where NBC used to be owned by GE in terms of a conglomerate. I mean, new and different. I guess these are all areas that they see being very important. I guess you could say with energy, it's such a big need for the data centers, and the idea that this country needs more data and more ways of producing energy. I guess they're playing off of that. The stock immediately is up by about 31% on this news. But that's the news. It's a deal that's just out, and apparently each side of the shareholders will get 50% of this new company with this merger.
This is fascinating. I'm trying to figure out who runs TAE, what the backstory is.
Not familiar
about this whole company, who used to, there was some venture money behind this for a long time, big names. We're going to dig into all of this, and we're going to come back and try to break this down. Maybe we should go make some phone calls, figure out the backstory on a deal that I think a lot of folks are going to be interested in this morning.
Yeah. We'll continue with that. When we come back, though, Evercore's Roger Altman will join us. That's coming up in the next hour. He is representing Warner Brothers Discovery in its merger deal negotiations, and he will give us his take on the bids by both Netflix and Paramount. First, though, the AccuWeather forecast with meteorologist Bernie Rayno.